Today we will be conducting an experiment to test conformity.
Conformity is the most common and pervasive form of social influence. It is informally defined as the tendency to act or think like members of a group. In psychology, conformity is defined as the act of matching attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors to group norms. Group pressure might take different forms, for example, bullying, persuasion, teasing, or criticism. The term conformity is often used to indicate an agreement to the majority position, brought about either by a desire to fit in or because of the desire to be correct.
The research question we were testing is, will people conform in an uncomfortable environment such as waiting in line for the bathroom? Our hypothesis is that people will conform and are more likely to conform due to the uncomfortable environment. We're going to conduct our experiment in public places that all have one-person bathrooms. We will test conformity by having one of us stand in front of the bathroom acting like we're waiting to go in. We then wait for someone to attempt to use the bathroom and see if they conform by just standing and waiting with us, or if they go against the social norm and just try to walk into the bathroom. In this video, Nick was waiting outside of the bathroom at Subway while it was pretty busy. We were actually able to get two people to stand behind him in line without saying or asking anything about the bathroom. Another interesting observation that we made was that the kid in the gray sweater put his hood on after seeing that Nick had his hood on. For this trial, we were at a mobile gas station. I was waiting for about 2 to 3 minutes before this girl walked up and waited in line with me. Note, once again, when the person came to stand next to me in line, they never actually asked me if I was waiting to go to the bathroom. There turned out to actually be someone in the bathroom, and when he came out, neither me nor the girl went in, and instead just conformed by standing there and listening to him speak.
Three terms that relate to our experiment include normative social influence,
The chameleon effect,
and conformity.
These terms are important to our project because conformity is a type of normative social influence, and the chameleon effect is an example of conformity. In 1932, famous psychologist Dircz was the first psychologist to study conformity. His experiment was an ambiguous situation involving a glass bottle filled with beans. He asked participants individually to estimate how many beans the bottle contained. Dircz then put the group in a room with the bottle and asked them to provide a group estimate through discussion. Participants were then asked to estimate the number on their own again to find whether their initial estimates had altered based on the influence of the majority, and almost all changed their individual guesses to be closer to the group estimate.
Muzaffar Sharif used the autokinetic effect, where a small spot of light projected onto a screen in a dark room will appear to move, even though it doesn't. It was discovered that when participants were individually tested, their estimates on how far the light moved varied considerably. The participants were then tested in groups of 3. Sharif manipulated the composition of the group by putting together 2 people whose estimate of the light movement when alone was very similar, and 1 person whose estimate was very different. Each person in the group had to say aloud how far they thought the light moved. Sharif found that over numerous estimates of the movement of light, the group converged to a common estimate. The results show that when in an ambiguous situation, a person will look to others for guidance. They want to do the right thing but may lack the appropriate information. Observing others can provide this information. This is known as informational conformity.
These 2 experiments are very important to this project because they were some of the very first ever documented experiments that tested conformity. In conclusion, we found that in every situation there were multiple types of conformity. In both trials, the first people that came to the bathroom waited next to or behind us without asking any questions. In the trial at Subway, we saw the chameleon effect take place as the kid waiting imitated Nick by putting on his hoodie. In the second trial, you can see the girl come and wait in line, but also lean up against the wall just like I was. If we were to recreate this experiment later, I would have ran more trials as well as used some confederates to further test if people would conform to different situations.